Hello! Today I am going to do a brand new recipe that I've not done before. It is an Alfredo sauce recipe, and instead of using Alfredo noodles, I'm going to use zucchini noodles. So I'm going to show you how I do that. I noticed that a lot of people my age don't know how to cook, and they're always asking me how to cook, so I decided to make a video and show you one of the things I like to do. Alright, so let me show you some of the ingredients I'm going to use. These are organic chicken thighs. I like to get chicken thighs because I feel like they have a better flavor, and they're slightly cheaper than maybe getting chicken breast, but if you want to use chicken breast, you can use chicken breast too. I just like it because it's cheaper. So we have that. 2 heads of cauliflower. Again, I like to use organic cauliflower just because I like to stay as chemical free as I possibly can. But when buying organic produce, I double check and I read the label to make sure that it comes from a local area. So if it said it was organic from Mexico, I probably wouldn't buy it, and I would just go ahead and buy the regular version of it. Just because, what's the point in buying it whenever they have to ship it all the way from Mexico? So, cauliflower, some zucchini. Now these are not organic zucchinis. These are just regular zucchinis that I bought at the store. They're pretty cool. I like to call them courgettes. And then we have some nice olive oil. This is just regular Trader Joe olive oil. I know that you could probably get a better quality olive oil, but this is just what I have. So we're going to use some garlic salt, some regular kosher salt, some heavy cream. Now you can either buy heavy whipping cream or heavy cream. It's the same thing. A tablespoon of butter. Now I know in the paleo community, dairy is, it's one of those things. I like to eat dairy simply because when I started going paleo, I went clean for 2 straight weeks. I didn't eat any of the gray area things, and then I reintroduced a little bit of dairy just to see how my body would take it, and so far so good. So I'm okay with a little bit of dairy. I don't go overboard, and I don't stuff my face with cheese. I just do little tiny bits of a time. So this is 1/4 a cup of cream and a tablespoon of butter, so not too much. Then we also have nutmeg. Oops. To give it a little bit of nice flavor. This is 4 cups of chicken stock. You could also use vegetable broth, but I am a fan of this chicken stock. And last but not least, ground pepper. So let's get started. Okay, we are going to start by seasoning our chicken breast with garlic and salt. So what I like to do is I just pour the powdered garlic and the salt on a plate with a little bit of cracked pepper. So it should look like that. Mix it around a little bit. You take your chicken breast and you want to really season it really well. So get all of that nice garlic and that really great salt flavor into there. Like so. So now we're going to grill it. If you have an outside grill, perfect. But I happen to live in a little small apartment, and I just use my George Foreman. Pro tip, line your George Foreman with foil, because one of the most annoying things in kitchen cleanup is cleaning up a George Foreman grill. So we're just going to close this and wait till it's done. Alright, so while we're waiting for our chicken to finish up, we are going to chop up the cauliflower. So sometimes the George Foreman lies and likes to tell me that my chicken's done when it absolutely isn't. A good indicator to see if your chicken is done is by simply poking it. If it is really soft in the middle, then your chicken is probably still very raw and is not safe to eat. You want to make sure that your chicken is white all the way through and there's no pink showing. So I just kind of poke it with a fork, and if it still is telling me that it's not done, then I put it back in. Now, one thing about chopping cauliflower, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just go ahead and chop the crap out of it. All right, so now we're gonna take the chicken stock and we are going to boil it in the pot. Set to boil. Okay, so to make the zucchini noodles, you wanna get a zucchini and cut off for both tips. Then I use a potato slicer because I don't have anything else, but you can use a mandolin slicer. I just don't have one. So you just take it and you go like that. Don't worry if it turns off like that because it's still edible. You can still eat it. It doesn't have to look perfect. So just like that. I feel like using them flat is pretty good for making Alfredo noodles because they resemble the flat fettuccine. If you want to, you can cut them in half, but I'm not going to because I'm lazy. So my chicken stock is boiling, so it's time to just throw these cauliflower babies in the pot. Oh, but don't burn yourself. Be careful. Whenever I'm cooking, this is my best friend. I love wooden spoons. After we threw our cauliflower in the pot, we are just going to let it boil. It's really, really, really important that you cook your cauliflower in the chicken stock and not just regular water, since cauliflower is going to be the base of our Alfredo. So yay, our cauliflower is done. You can usually tell cauliflower is done by when you pick it up and you poke it. It's really, really tender. It's, you know, when you poke raw cauliflower, it gets stuck, but this just, like, you see, almost falls apart. What I like to do it is by sticking a piece of it in my mouth to taste it. Hot. I forgot about the garlic. So here's a clove of garlic, and we are going to mince about 4 cloves. If you've never used fresh garlic before, this is what it looks like. You can typically find it next to the onions in the grocery store. So I'll show you how to open it. Here's a single clove of garlic. So mincing garlic, not really all that tricky to be honest. So you have your garlic on your chopping board. This is hard because I'm holding it, and you want to smash it down like that. Hey, it worked. In smashing it, the peel comes right off. So mincing garlic, when you mince, you always want to hold it like this. That's how you don't cut off your fingers. I don't ever perfectly mince anything. I just kind of get in there and I chop it up. But this is what your minced garlic is going to look like. Oh no! This garlic is not good. I would not recommend using this garlic. Oh. But what about the chicken? My chicken is all nicely cooled, cooked, and piled right here on the plate. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna cut it up. This is gonna be the, or cut it up as you wish. You can do it in chunks, you can do it in strips, just pretty much however which way you want. If you don't have the time and patience to sit there and cut up a bunch of chicken, you could do like I do and just rip it. It's time to take that garlic in places it's never been before. Take your butter, heat it up in a pan. So our cauliflower is done, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out of that big pot and I'm going to put it into a blender. I'm going to leave all the remaining chicken stock in the pan because I'm going to use that to cook my zucchini noodles. I'm going to utilize the pot and the flavors that are already there. Alright, so toss that garlic in the pan once the butter is melted. Give it a right stir. Let that sit. Watch your garlic because if you don't watch it, like I just did, it will start to burn on you. Not good. I'm just going to add this garlic. Thankfully I didn't burn it too bad. I'm going to add it into the blender with the cauliflower. It happens. You live with it. Alright, so I'm going to take this pot, I'm going to add a little bit more water in it. Put it back on the stove to a boil and add your zucchini. gonna give that a quick stir to make sure that all the zucchini's in it. So you wanna boil this until the zucchinis are, you know, the pasta consistency, al dente, if you will. Okay, so now you're gonna wanna add the salt to the cauliflower and the blender. And this is a pinch of nutmeg and a wee bit more black pepper. So this is what it looks like in the blender. This is it after it has been blended. And now we're gonna add a tablespoon of olive oil while it's mixing. Once it has all pureed and there are no more lumps and it's really, really smooth, you wanna add it back to the skillet and add that 1/4 cup of heavy cream. In the event that it's giving you a difficult time coming out of the blender, you can always use a spatula. Alright, so we are going to heat the cream and the cauliflower mix up a little bit. If it's too thick, I'm going to add a slight bit of water. Here is the cauliflower and cream mix. I should have used a bigger pan. You just want to mix it around so it's nice and incorporated. Another thing that you probably could do, which I probably will do next time, is put the cream with the cauliflower in the blender. We are in the home stretch now. All we're doing is mixing it up, heating it up, and waiting for the zucchini noodles to cook. Once those are ready, then we can throw everything together and we'll be done. I'm adding more salt because, again, I feel like it needs it. So here's the Alfredo sauce after it's been mixed up. You probably, if you had a bigger pan, you'd probably want to go ahead and put that cup of water in there. But I don't have a bigger pan and it's not that important to me. Woo! I'm gonna turn that down to low. So here are the zucchini noodles. I'm gonna check those and see if they're done. So I'm gonna put the sauce back in the blender and I'm gonna add that little bit of water because after further inspection, I do think that it is a bit too thick for Alfredo sauce. And I don't want it to be like I'm eating mashed cauliflower. Much better. So the noodles are done. We're gonna throw it on the plate. So these are what the zucchini noodles look like when done. All right, I'm gonna add the chicken. And then finally the Alfredo sauce. And this is it. We are done. So thanks for watching. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions at all, or if you maybe have a recipe that you'd like me to make next time, then please leave a comment and don't forget to subscribe.